Let's dive right in. If you're out there creating short-form content and constantly wondering why the algorithm just seems to hate you, well, you're in the right place. Today's explainer is breaking down the absolute ultimate blueprint for a high-retention 30-second Instagram reel. We're looking directly at the exact framework used by top-tier strategists, specifically the model engineered for that famous Alex Hormozi style of content. Notice I didn't even say hello? Yeah, there are no greetings here. Absolutely no fluff. Just the pure, unfiltered architecture of a viral explainer. Let's get to work. So let me ask you, are your videos flopping with zero comments? It's a pretty harsh reality for so many founders, agencies, and creators out there. You spend literally hours scripting, filming, and editing, only to hear absolute crickets when you hit publish. It's incredibly frustrating, right? Well, this explainer is going to show you exactly why that happens. The source material we're looking at today fundamentally shifts how we need to view our content. We actually have to stop treating these clips like casual vlogs and start treating them like precision-engineered retention machines. The absolute most crucial point here is establishing our true north. Our objective is not to generate empty views. Honestly, for founders and business owners, vanity metrics are entirely useless. We don't care about them. What we need is deep engagement. We want viewers to literally stop scrolling, consume the entire 30-second message, and then take a highly specific action that pushes your video into the algorithms of entirely new audiences. Every single second of the framework we're about to explore is entirely dedicated to that one singular goal: comments and shares. Okay, here's your chronological roadmap for the perfect 30 seconds. Just look at how strictly this is segmented. You've got a 3-second hook, followed by a 4-second problem phase. Then comes the absolute meat of the video, a massive 16-second live demo chunk running from seconds 7 to 23. You wrap the whole thing up with a 5-second payoff, and then precisely a 2-second call to action at the very end. It is a rigid, completely unforgiving timeline. You cannot bleed your hook into your problem, and you definitely can't drag out your payoff. So we're going to break down every single one of these phases, starting with the most important 3 seconds of your life. 10. That's it. That is the absolute maximum number of words you're allowed to use in your hook. From second 0 to second 3, the rules dictate that you get exactly 1 sentence. Not 2, no rambling introductory thoughts, just 1 single sentence, 10 words max. And the content of that sentence? It has to be contrarian, shocking, or just deeply curiosity-inducing. You have to literally break the viewer's scrolling trance. I mean, if your first sentence is, "Hey guys, today I want to talk about," you've already lost them. You must deliver a sharp, calculated jolt to the system. Think, "I lost $1 million in 24 hours, not, here's my story." Now, once you've actually got their attention, the transition is super aggressive. Seconds 3 to 7 are entirely dedicated to the problem. This is where you describe the viewer's pain using short, extremely punchy sentences. You're basically twisting the knife, validating exactly why they stopped scrolling in the first place. But then, right at the 7-second mark, everything shifts into the live demo phase, and this runs all the way to second 23. The absolute defining rule of this massive middle section is show, don't explain. You are no longer just talking to the camera, you are dynamically proving your point. And here is the rule that really separates the amateurs from the pros. 1. During that 16-second live demo phase, you are required to introduce a brand new visual every single second. Yes, you heard that right. 1 second, 1 new visual. This is the absolute hallmark of the high retention style. The human brain completely craves novelty, and by forcing a completely new visual stimulus every single second, you physically prevent the viewer from getting bored. Honestly, they don't even have time to consider swiping away because their eyes are just constantly darting to the next piece of visual information. To actually pull off that kind of visual pacing, well, explanation is dead. Every single spoken sentence must directly correspond to an on-screen visual. If you mention a concept, the viewer has to instantly see it represented. On top of that, no single scene can last longer than 1 to 2 seconds. Just think about the pacing of that for a second. It requires an incredibly tight script because you just can't have a long, drawn-out sentence if the scene has to cut away in a second and a half. The audio and the visual are completely locked together in this rapid-fire dance of continuous value. All right, so you've hooked them, you've agitated the pain, and you've visually demonstrated the solution at absolute lightning speed. Now we hit seconds 23 to 28, which is the payoff. The blueprint demands that you show the transformation right here, and crucially, you've got to use numbers whenever possible. Don't just say, "You'll get better results." Say, "You will double your output in 14 days. Numbers provide concrete, anchorable proof. Then, the very moment you deliver that numerical payoff, you hit the 28-second mark and pivot straight into the CTA, the call to action. Again, the constraints here are brutal. You get exactly 1 sentence to tell them what to do before the video loops. So what exactly should that one-sentence CTA actually be? Well, the strategy specifically calls for a keyword CTA. You are definitely not asking them to like, subscribe, follow, and hit the bell. No way, that is way too much friction. Instead, you're asking the viewer to comment one specific keyword. Something like, comment the word blueprint and I'll send you the guide. It's a low-friction, incredibly high-reward action. Plus, it fulfills our primary objective of generating comments, which instantly signals to the algorithm that this piece of content is highly engaging. And that's what triggers it to push your work to a massive new audience. Now, to make this entire 30-second machine actually work, you really have to adhere to the Alex Hormozi tone rules. It's honestly a masterclass in aggressive simplicity. No greetings, no filler words whatsoever. You've got to write at a grade 5 English level. Basically say use instead of utilize. This ensures instant, frictionless comprehension across a global audience. Every single spoken line has to be under 8 words. And perhaps the most important rule of all, the entire video can only contain one single idea. If you try to cram 2 concepts into 30 seconds, you'll dilute the message, confuse the viewer, and totally destroy your retention. Keep it simple and keep it punchy. It is actually wild just how much work goes into a seemingly simple 30-second video. To actually deliver this high retention blueprint, the production requirements behind the scenes are intense. You need dynamic on-screen captions for every single word. You need carefully selected B-roll and really precise camera movements. You need a rich layer of sound effects to punctuate that new visual every second rule we talked about. You even need to prepare the first frame text, a solid Instagram caption, and a highly optimized thumbnail title. The source material even demands brainstorming 10 different viral hook alternatives, 10 thumbnail variations, and 10 CTA variations, just to find the absolute perfect combination for those 30 seconds. It is a highly, highly engineered product. So, we've just completely torn apart the anatomy of maximum retention. You now have the exact 30-second chronological roadmap, the strict visual pacing constraints, and the linguistic rules required to completely dominate the feed. But, as you know, understanding the blueprint is only half the battle. Executing it is where the real game is played. So, I'm going to leave you with this final, crucial question. What keyword will you ask for in your next video? Think carefully about it, script your 10-word hook, and start building.